Good day, podcast community. We have a special podcast on here, and he's promised not to promote the Eagles since they absolutely whooped the Kansas City Chiefs. So he's a modest kind of guy. So we wanted to have him on our podcast, not to talk about the Eagles, but just to talk about his journey. So Joe, tell our viewers so they can understand a little bit more about you, who you are, what you do, and who you serve, and then we'll get into our podcast.
Yeah, so my name is Joe Rivera. I am a resilience keynote speaker and a comeback coach. I empower business leaders and entrepreneurs around the world from overcoming what they believe are their limitations by helping them see their blind spots so they can live in purpose and close the gap between spirituality and true wealth.
Man, I love that. I tell you, when I hear people that are living on purpose, it really warms the heart. But what for our viewers who kind of like they're not in that mindset yet, what does it mean to you when you say living on purpose and what you're doing right now that you could share with our viewers?
I mean, when you know that you're being of service and when I wake up in the morning, man, I don't even need no alarm clock. My purpose wakes me up every single day. My highest source that I call God wakes me up and tells me it's time to go walk and live in my purpose. It's time to go be of service. It's time to go take care of the assignments that He's aligned for me for that day and for the days going forward.
How does that compare to in years past when you didn't have that kind of mindset or thought or just how can you share our viewers like what does it mean before you got into this and just living on purpose or living in general, what was it like, and share our little bit about your story so they can have a frame of reference.
Man, oh man, those days were days that uh, I mean, just thinking about it makes my stomach turn, because I used to live that unmanageable life. I used to live a life of lack of direction, no drive, no purpose. I went from Park Avenue to Park Bench. I lost everything.
Mm-hmm.
I even almost lost my life. I had my dream job in the financial industry as a stockbroker. In the early 2000s, I'm 25 years old, making seven figures a year. I should feel like I'm on top of the world at this point.
Mm-hmm.
But seven figures a year? Nah, that ain't good enough. I want more. I want eight figures or nine figures. And at this point in my life, being spiritually bankrupt, money's the only higher power that I know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm willing to do whatever it takes to make more money. I'm putting in late nights at the office one evening, and this dude, we call him Johnny Connect. We call him that because he had the connections to get his hands on anything you could imagine. And keep in mind, we're in New York. So this dude swears that he's part of the mafia. He sits down at my desk and he says, "Hey, Joe, you think you're a top producer now? Take this little round pill and forget about it. You're going to produce even more." Wall Street is also known as Drug Street, and
Mm-hmm.
everybody's doing some kind of drug. I'm already smoking weed, drinking, or having some kind of mind altering substance in my body every single day for the past 10 years at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, why not? And that's when I got introduced to opiates. And that's when my battle with substance abuse took off to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
My life goes dark and becomes completely unmanageable. I'm risking my life every single day. I overdosed twice. The last time, it took 6 cans of Narcan to bring me back to life. 6 fucking cans of Narcan. That same night, I'm laying in the hospital bed. I wake up. I pull the EKG electrodes off my body, leave the hospital against medical advice. And then when I get outside, it's the middle of winter. I'm in a hospital gown, shivering, looking like a crackhead like Pookie from New Jack City because of all the opiates that were being taken out of my system. And the first thing that I do, I go call the dealer again to go get high. A week or two later, my sister invited me for an event. And at this event, I don't remember exactly what it was, but something clicked. I looked at my sister. She looked at me. And we both started crying. She knew exactly what I was going to say. And then the words came out. The words my family was waiting to hear for over a decade. Mm-hmm. I said, I don't want to do this anymore, sis. I'm a shell of my true self. I'm tired of writing my obituary. I want to begin creating my legacy again. And after that, I made the most important decision of my life to achieve sobriety. You know, my story is not unique. Many people struggle with vices. Mine was drugs and alcohol. Somebody else might be gambling, sex, shopping, overeating, overworking, whatever that vice is. Mm-hmm. It interferes with us being our true self by having us isolate, not being fully present. It creates character defects. For some, life may become unmanageable. Some may lack direction. Some people lose motivation in their self-esteem. I promise you, that's not the way to live life. There's a better way to live life. You know, I used to live an unmanageable life where I lacked direction, didn't finish things that I started. I couldn't get out of my own way. But now I live an incredible life where I know the direction I'm going. I know what my goals are. And when I start something, I finish it and I shatter those goals. But it's because I built a reliable, repeatable, and transformational system, which has helped me create wealth financially, emotionally, and spiritually.
So in your journey back, like that time you had that moment with your sister, were there other times during that 10-year journey that you got close to really breaking out of that, or was it just a constant blur of the drugs, the alcohol, the lifestyle? Like our viewers that sometimes get close and we retreat, what was it at that moment that really just clicked when you had that conversation with your sister that made you kind of make that major shift in your life?
So, I mean, there was plenty of times in the past where everybody else, you know, my loved ones, the people around me, were telling me that I should, you know, stop getting high, stop drinking. But I wasn't ready. Mm-hmm. And when I finally told my sister, I was ready, man. I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. Mm-hmm. You know, I hit my bottom. I had just overdosed a couple weeks before that. My mom passed away. Life was upside down. Me and my mom were like this. She was my best friend, my everything. And that's when life took a turn for the worse. And I was tired of trying to block pain. I thought that I was blocking the pain, but I really wasn't. Through this journey, I learned that, the thing that I blocked the most wasn't pain. I was blocking being able to literally feel my mom's spirit through me on a day-by-day basis. Because now that I'm sober, now that I have clarity, now that I've been able to build that spiritual connection or relationship, there's not a day that goes by that I don't feel that. I feel her presence every day, and that's a blessing. But I was just, I was ready, Pete. When I said I wanted to make the change, I was ready to make the change. You have to be ready in anything you're going to change in life, no matter what it is. Right? Mine was sobriety. Mine was, building a better life for myself, and I had to be ready to make the change. If I wasn't ready to make the change, I would have never changed.
When you did make that change, they always talk about the environment that we change to because we're like the product of who we hang around with.
Mm-hmm.
What helped you after you made that decision and you had that conversation with your sister? Like, were you intentionally setting better mentors, better people, better environment that would help you kind of along that journey to a new life?
That's a great question. I changed all of that, because I believe the same way you do. You are who you surround yourself with, right? If you surround yourself with people who inspire you, guess what? You're going to be inspired to do more with your life. My family had a saying growing up, which was "Dime con quien te andas y te digo quién eres." It's a saying that they have in Puerto Rico and DR when growing up, and it means tell me who you walk with, and I'm going to tell you who you are. So
Ooh.
absolutely, I changed my surroundings. When I got sober, I started hanging around with people who were sober and finding out the steps that they took to get sober and stay sober. When I built myself back up to another multi-million-dollar business, I surrounded myself with other business people who were multimillionaires and found out what steps they took to build their business to a multi-million-dollar business. I also had to find out what their failures were so that I could learn from their mistakes and not have to go through those same mistakes. It's vital to hang out with people who are ahead of you in whatever it is you're looking to do in life. Whatever you want to accomplish, go find somebody who's done it already. Find out where they fucked up, what they did wrong, so you don't make those same mistakes. Find out what they did that helped them succeed and take it to the next level so you can follow that blueprint.
Mm-hmm. Do you find yourself like because you're inspiring, you're coaching, you're giving people that transition story because so many of us are stuck in that storm and they're looking for, kind of people like you said to be around, to encourage, to have a life of purpose and to be able to move on. So when you are talking with a person that you can kind of sense they're not in that place, how do you handle that? What like are you are you talking to them about your story? Are you sharing anything that helps to kind of get them because you want to have them understand and be part of the life that you're living now, but what do you do to kind of help them, encourage them?
Well, I mean, the first thing is they got to get clear on what it is they want.
Mhm.
Clarity is crucial to success. Clarity is crucial to making change. Clarity is a key to success in life. So getting clear on what they want, and getting clear on their obstacles. What's blocking them? What's in their way? Have they figured out what their why is? Have they not? And also, what's just as important, if not even more important than the why, is the what. How clear are you on what it is you want? How
Mhm.
clear are you on why you're doing what you do? Why do you want to go out there and create impact? What do you want to create impact in? How do you want to go about doing it? That's crucial in my coaching program. I have a whole session in my coaching program for clarity, and it's so important to get clear on what those obstacles are that are blocking you from being able to go and achieve your success, right? And also, Another big piece is, helping them uncover what their core values are, right? Because when you, but first, before you can uncover those core values, we got to crack through those limited beliefs, because those limited beliefs, if you're aligned with those limited beliefs, you're not going to be able to uncover and live by your core values.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another big piece, and helping them, find that leader within, you know, because I build my pillars off of perseverance, growth, and spirituality.
Mm-hmm.
And then, getting into that spirituality piece is my favorite part, because, spirituality is, yes, there's a higher source involved. I call it God. Someone else might call it the universe, the infinite intelligence, Buddha, whatever it is, whatever works for you, right? Believing that there's something greater than yourself
Mm-hmm.
that's going to help you unlock your fullest potential is vital when it comes to spirituality. It's not about religion. Religion and spirituality, two different worlds,
Mm-hmm.
right? But understanding that higher source is what helps you unlock your fullest potential is a big key component. But spirituality is also about walking and living in your purpose.
Mm-hmm.
It's also about self-care and knowing that you're a man or a woman worthy of love and respect.
Mm-hmm.
But you got to love yourself before you can love the people around you, before the people around you can love you. And, spirituality is also about being able to sit with yourself and practice patience.
Do you feel like I heard a stat that said the average person watches 4 hours of TV and scrolls 2 hours of social media? If you take those numbers, so that's 6 hours. If we're awake for 18, that's a third of our life that we're consuming. You talk about creating. Tell our viewers, what does it mean to you to create?
To me, creating, and listen, those statistics that you're saying are probably, it might even be more than the average person watching 4 hours.
Mhm.
Um, Man, and that'll rot your brain, man. You gotta make sure that you're you're bringing into you're very careful what it is that you're intaking on social media, what you're intaking on TV. If you're watching negative news, then guess what? You're gonna have that negative mindset, because all the
Mhm.
news is negativity. There's nothing positive there,
Yep.
you know. So I just think that, um, it's so important to it's so important to make sure that you have a routine in place.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry I went rambling on. Give me
No, no,
give
it's
me the
good.
question one more time, though, Pete.
We're part of a high performance culture with Brendan Bouchard, and
Uh-huh.
part of that is Growth Day, and there's a lot of emphasis on the learning and the growing in all the different areas. And I remember him saying that we have to have our own design for development. Like you're a speaker is like you don't just wake up and become a great speaker. You work on it. You listen to the best. You pick up pointers. So when you're designing your personal development
Creating,
the
right?
year. So what are you working on right now that our viewers can kind of understand your design for that high performance lifestyle?
Great question on the creative, on the creation. I went rambling on about the TV thing. You hit a nerve when you mentioned the TV and what we input into our brain, man, because I think that's so important. So
Yep.
as far as creation goes, man, look, I'm a big believer in connecting with my higher source and co-creating with my higher source on the assignments that he downloads into my system.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone else is different, right? We're all different. We're all spiritual beings, yeah, living this human experience, but our assignments are all different. So my creation is going to look different than someone else. But what I will say is, when you start connecting with that higher source and you're in alignment with that higher source, there's no more powerful way to create anything than when you co-create with that higher source. And then you got to stay laser focused on what it is you're looking to create. You can't say, "Oh, I want to create a legacy as the best doctor in the world," and then you're not practicing medicine, you're not practicing your craft. You can't go and say, "I want to be the best heart surgeon in the world," and then just expect to go do the biggest heart surgery one day and you had no practice at it. No, repetition is the mother of skill. In anything you do. You want to be the best speaker in the world, you got to go out there and practice your speech every day. Michael Jordan wanted to be the best basketball player every day. He was out there on the court, first guy in practice, first guy to leave. Kobe Bryant, same thing. I mean, we see it with these athletes all the time, right? They put that work in and repetition. They get the reps in. It's so vital to your success to practice over and over what it is you're looking to create in your life. You have to do that, and also you got to have an action plan in place, because first you got to get clear on your targets. You got to have an action plan in place, and you got to take action on that action plan. And also, along with the co-creation with your creator, is you got to visualize it, right? Because you got to be able to see what it is you wanna be able to create. See yourself creating it. What does it look like before you create it? What does it look like while you're creating it? Because that's where the growth is. And then what does it look like afterwards? Visualize all of it, feel it, and bring it into existence. Manifestation is real, guys. It's as real as it gets. But you gotta visualize it, and most importantly, you gotta believe it. You gotta believe in what you're creating.
Has your belief since that day, going back to that conversation you had with your sister, like, do you find yourself like your belief keeps growing as you do those things each day, that visualizing, meditation, morning routine, reading good books, listening, being around people? Tell our viewers, like, what is that growth in your belief system? How is that kind of, how, explain what it's meant to you to grow in that area of belief?
It's everything. Without my belief system, without cracking through my old belief system, the limited beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't have been able to have the belief system I have today without doing the work that I've been able to do on myself, peeling that onion back and taking stock of who I was. Putting the drugs down, that shit was easy. Changing my mindset, that's where the work was. That's where it really began. And it all started with cracking through that limited belief system and building up this belief system that I have now. And my belief system is what makes me who I am today. You know what I mean? It's having that belief system of, like I shared a few minutes ago about, co-creating with my higher source and believing that my higher source, way greater than myself, helps me unlock my fullest potential. I'm nothing without that. Without God, man, I don't live here. I'm not alive today. I'm not here talking to you. I'm not out here creating impact. None of it. He's saved my life for a reason, and now I'm living that reason out. And being able to believe that I could do anything I put my mind to is the belief system that I've built throughout the years, by building that relationship with the higher source, and also doing the work in my field of business. I've got years and years that I put under my belt in personal development. You know what I mean? And it didn't happen overnight. It takes time, right? But that repetition continue to build it, continue to build it. I still read books, I still watch videos, I still absorb in the world because I believe in it. I know it works. I know what it can do. And I rather feed my brain on personal development and books than, sitting down and binging off Netflix for 10 hours. Don't get me wrong. Listen, do I watch TV? Yeah, once in a while, of course I do. I'm human just like everybody else. I enjoy watching sports. I'm wearing the damn Eagles shirt. I enjoy watching a good TV show, but I treat myself to those things, right? Because I've had a productive week at work. How productive was I during the week? Do I deserve to sit down and watch an hour or two of TV at the end of the week? I don't do it daily. I watch maybe 3 hours of TV a week, but I treat myself when I've earned it the same way I treat myself to a dessert after a long week of work, of working out. I beat the shit out of myself all week. I could have a cheat day. I could enjoy it because I earned it. It's the same thing, man. You gotta stay disciplined in what it is you're looking to create and disciplined in building that belief system.
I love that. We talk a lot about habits. What habits have you been able to create that have given you the outcome that you've shared with our viewers? That's mindset that comes with the clarity. And so, any habits in the morning, evening that you could share with our viewers that you have seen results from?
Man, the biggest was breaking, right? Because I believe when you build habits, you're breaking old habits that don't serve you. And I went from the habits of waking up to getting high every day to prayer and meditation, and a moment of gratitude. And my moment of gratitude started off as 1 to 2 minutes, and now today there's days where I'm sitting down and that moment of gratitude is 45 minutes because I got so much to be grateful for. There's days where tears come from the gratitude that I have. And it's all because I've learned to also, be able to sit with myself, man, and connect. And I learned that, when I connect like that and I sit with myself in the morning, my creator talks back. My creator communicates back with me. And there's nothing better than that, man. That's how I like to start my day, is by connecting with that higher source so that I can get that energy to go start my day. So that was big for me because I work on my soul and my mind first, and then I go take care of my body at the gym, and I get my ass to the gym even on days where I don't want to go, because it's important. It's vital. You got to move. Once we stop moving, we die.
Yeah,
you got to stay moving. You know what I mean? You're blessed, especially when you're blessed to have your arms, your legs, to be able to be mobile. Go use it, man. Yep. There's people out there in wheelchairs that I see at the gym, and they're out there getting the exercise in. So you got no excuse if you got all your body parts and you're not taking care of your body. Shame on you, because you're not going to be able to create impact. You're not going to be able to live the life that you want to live. You're not going to be able to create success on your own terms if you're not taking care of your mind, your body, and your soul before you go take care of your business, before you go take care of everything else, because that's got to come first. Even your family, man, you can't take care of your family if you're not taking care of those things. You're not going to live long enough. Yeah. So sometimes we got to be selfless in order to be, we got to be selfish in order to be selfless. Yeah. You got to take care of yourself. You have to, or you can't take care of those around you. And then also writing down my goals, and looking at them every day, saying them through prayer and meditation, talking to my creator about what my goals are. A lot of people have this misconception that you can't ask your creator for things, and because it makes you, I don't even understand. Never understood that. I think the bigger my ask, the more my creator blushes, because he's like,
I totally agree.
You have that much faith in me? You
Yeah.
got that much faith in me that you're going to ask me to help you go out there and create impact around the world?
Yeah.
You really got balls to ask me for that? Oh, I'm going to give that to you now because you believe in me that much. And that's how it starts working together, But so yeah, man, writing down your goals, saying them through prayer and meditation. And listen, I spoke about when I was getting high and I was out there living a crazy life. I used to go to sleep. I don't know how the hell I did this. Now I look back, I'm like, damn, how did I do that? I used to go to sleep with my TV on, and I don't know how I live like that because now I can't even sleep with the TV on 2 hours before I go to bed.
Yeah.
I shut down my screen hours before, an hour and a half, 2 hours before I go to bed. I'm not looking at any screen. My phone is put away, my computer, all of it's put away because I want to make sure that I focus on getting the right rest that I need in my life. And, I have another prayer session at night and I connect again at night.
Yeah. I love that because I know Brendan talks about the 3-2-1, eating 2 hours, no work, 1 hour, no screen time before you go to bed. There's a lot to be said about people that absorb that screen time, whether it's TV or that small computer. You're putting it into your brain before you're going into that sleep. And so we wonder why people have a hard time sleeping because they've inundated their brain with all this stuff. Tell us about, as we wind down a little bit, the meditation part. Do you do that in the evening too before you go to bed? Or do you do it in the morning? Or how does that work with your routine?
I got to tell you guys, I meditate throughout my day. Meditation comes in so many different forms, right?
Mhm.
Um, it could be meditation and prayer. It could be, kind of through prayer, right? Like actual prayer, conversing with that higher source.
Mhm.
It could be sitting with yourself, listening to like removing the negative thoughts and allowing the positive thoughts to come in. That's a form of meditation. Um, so I pray and meditate throughout my day.
Mhm.
Man, I think I always say, thank God for Bluetooth because there's times where I'm in my car and I'm having a conversation with God, and people would think I'm talking to myself and I'm crazy if we didn't have Bluetooth. So I'm thankful for that. But
Yeah.
so in the evening, yeah, I connect again before I go to bed,
Yeah.
and I reflect on the day, right? What were my wins? What are things that I could grow at? Where
Mhm.
could I grow? How could I be a better version of myself the next day
Yeah.
when I wake up in the morning?
Yeah, I love that. As we wind down, I could go on and on because I geek out on what you're just talking about, and I see ourselves. I see the people being so busy, being busy. I call it being on the busy bus where there's a lot
Mm.
of distraction, noise. You don't know where you're going, and we talk about getting in the purpose plane where it's quiet, has a destination to go in. So I want our viewers to be able to get a hold of you if they want you to come speak to their organization or be able to come in and really give that because you have such a transformational story and message that a lot of people either are stuck in that area where they don't have purpose, they don't have clarity in their life. But when they see somebody that has gone where you have been to where you are today, it's inspiring and it's encouraging for them to make those changes. So how can people get a hold of you, Joe?
Well, you could contact me on my website at withjoerivera.com.
Okay.
And there's a form to fill out there to connect, and also there's a phone number there. You could also find me on Instagram. I'm with Joe Rivera. And Pete, if you don't mind, I have a gift that I want to give away to the audience.
Okay.
And I could give you the info and you can put it in the show notes.
Yeah, I will.
Okay.
Okay. And that'll be good. Yeah. So anything that y'all want to just go to the show notes and you'll be able to get that gift that Joe has given us. So, Joe, as we wind down, what would be the one thing that you would want our viewers to take home from our time on the podcast?
So one thing I want to give you guys to take away is uh, number one, don't be afraid to fail. Fail and fail forward. Fail stands for first attempt in learning, and your failures catapult you to your success.
Mm-hmm.
And when if you want to do something, do it, man. Don't wait for the perfect time. That perfect time is such an illusion. Perfection doesn't exist. It's about progression. As long as you progress every day, it's a win. And procrastination is just a grave that opportunity's buried in. You have the ability to do anything you put your mind to. Your creator put you in this world to be able to create your own destiny. You have to go out and find what that destiny is, man.
And I want to thank you for really helping our viewers. I mean, it's so important for a message that you spoke to us about for people to hear this, because it's hope, it's change, it's really taking your life and putting it on purpose, which the average person only lives 2 years after retirement. And the main thing is they lack purpose. They leave a job where they had something and they don't have purpose, and they drift and then they tailspin. So thank you so much, Joe, for being with us and sharing with our viewers your story and the messages you have for us today. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.